Greetings, welcome to Terra Prime Live. Darth Anonymous here, Vornok joining me.
Good evening.
Another little update on the symposium. We are a week out now, in which case next week we will be ushering in all of our visitors here. Ben, who's with us here on the panel, will be with us this weekend or next weekend, and of course Damon. General Sun, who we have a special message for everybody tonight, a little bit later. So we are just going to be talking a little bit about that, try to push the fundraiser as much as we can here. If you haven't seen it yet, or you haven't, haven't considered what we're doing here, or don't know about it, we're doing a fundraiser for our symposium this year, where we're flying Damon Honeycutt, General Sun, who is the inventor of the first Shicho, to help him create and popularize his Form 5, which he never got to finish back in the day. So this is
kind of the one of the originators of this community.
Yes.
Is circling back around to
so this is basically this is Damon's form was the first true lightsaber form created, I would say.
Yeah.
And then there was Suresu form that they had at New York Jedi for a little bit, but then it just kind of stopped.
I remember his form, and I don't remember anything as structured or formalized as that.
And I think his form is still probably the most commonly practiced form in the lightsaber community. It's probably the most universally seen form out there.
Right. Unless they're doing ours in France, in which case we could be getting a leg up, but that's really near nor there.
I did see a rare video of one of their guys in New York doing, I think, what they called Suresu. Yeah, and it was basically just wushu, but still, I mean, they called it Suresu, which was cool.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they had the Shicho form and the Suresu form. I remember.
And it wasn't a full form. I think it was only like maybe a 15 or 20-second clip. Like you really have to search to find it. Or at least I did.
I believe it's out there. I know I've seen that set, and I know even. Kane, our Creator, did a version of that. Yeah, now we're all on the. We've muddied everything up. Here it is.
Okay. Yeah, it's from 6 years ago.
Yeah. Is there a better one? No.
Well, in any case.
Yes. Oh, here we go.
Our looking for videos does not make
sense. No, but we do have it here. So let's see if I can't share it, screen share it here, so people can see it. There we go.
Modifications. If this goes up on YouTube, yes, it's Mike. I created it.
Yeah, there you go.
Hi, Mike. No, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see this video.
Well, we'll let it play here a little bit.
7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Step 1, 2, hit 3, hit 4, hit 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, blossom 4, 5, 6, hit 7, 8.
So this was the form, the Suresu form for a while. And obviously it's a year before us, so it had existed prior to us.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, cut. 1, 2, 3, 4, over 5.
I gotta say, growing up in New York City, I walked by many dance studios hearing that 1, 2.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that brings back memories. Thank you for that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and it's certainly interesting to see the lightsaber community beginning to get a sense of its own history, you know, kind of where it all came from and where it started back in the day.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, I mean, that's what's kind of happening here. So that's going to be really exciting.
Yeah.
We've got that whole thing going. Maybe we should just why don't we give the message from Damon here. So this is to everybody here, and then we'll go out. We've got a couple of new donators on the fundraiser we want to mention. Group in France and another person today, Marcus. We will get your. We'll get all that set here. But first, we have a message from the man himself. And okay, and but it should be okay. Hopefully.
Hey all, see you soon. This is where I work. Teach the kids all the stuff. And in any case, put together a couple things, just some short videos, first 2 lines of the form, and some grips, so you can see the grips. And yeah, so take a gander and talk about it, put in your 2 cents, and in a week we'll all be training together. Cool.
All right, so here's this close up on the grips here. That appears to be Matt. No. It went dead. It went dead. Oh no. Okay, we will stop that for a second. And where are we?
Like we might have lost our video.
Well, I see the fancy schmancy TPLA sign, so that's cool.
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah, did we just lose everybody here?
we just lost
All right, if you're watching, I think we're having technical issues.
Yep. Hold on one second. Let me see.
So, Anthony, you saw this video, right? You know, I showed
yes,
it to you.
I did get a chance to take a peek. I've been really busy with house renovations, but I did have a chance to take a look at it, and it was really cool stuff. You know, he moves like a cat. He's very good.
Yeah, so what people are going to see, hopefully, as soon as we get back on the air here with the rest of this, is he kind of outlines his basic grips and orbits that the form, that, you know, that his material is using. So he gives us some close-ups of that. And then he kind of runs through the first 2 lines of the form, I think, you know. That's what about it is, 2 lines, maybe?
Yes.
Yeah, it was a snippet of the form, and it looked really good. I mean, I really don't have anything to say about it because I didn't really get a chance.
I can't come in and out of here either.
Uh-oh.
I'll kill the feed, yeah.
Right, you can't hear them either, right?
No.
Yeah, I think that they are offline for the second.
Oh.
Right. So if you and I are carrying this show, let's talk about Surisu, man. What do you want to see in a Surisu form?
What do I want to see in a Surisu? Okay.
Why? What is
really? It's the fluidity that the Surisu that we do now has. Maybe possibly a beginner version of Surisu, because I noticed that the Surisu we currently use can be physically demanding.
Yeah.
And so we had the same talk about Ataru as well.
Yeah.
That there are elements of Ataru that are very difficult for some people, and maybe kind of like a version A, version B kind of thing. Maybe that would work.
And that's really where our Shien, that Damon's going to be presenting is going to come from, right? It's really going to be influenced by what do you have going on in Form 3? What do you have going on in Form 4? How do you want to augment that Form 3?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
So, controversial topics, while we're waiting for everyone to get back. Form 5, I don't know whether it's in Shien or Gemso, but, this is where the reverse scripts are supposed to live in the Star Wars universe.
We're really going to go there? Okay.
Well, like
I think see, I don't want to argue from authority.
Right.
Because that just puts people on the defensive. I would like to appeal to people's sense of practicality and realism. So whenever I see people do reverse grip for sparring purposes, most of the time they're always they're short on reach. They're really minimizing the range of motion that they have, and also they're beat to the punch every time.
Are we back?
So yes, I think we see you. We're having a nice little chat.
Right. Continue. You were saying.
Okay. We're talking about with the emergence of Form 5. What are our feelings on reverse grip? And so I'm coming at it from two different points of view. First point of view is practicality for realistic sparring, and the second point of view, theater.
Yeah.
For theater, I think it's awesome. It looks amazing. I mean, if you put it in choreographed duels, it just looks fancy. There's a lot of really cool, fancy tricks that you can do. There's a guy, I can't remember his name, who posts a lot of what I call twirling videos. And I have nothing against twirling videos because, hey, I like doing that stuff too. And he does it almost exclusively from reverse grip. And so what he's doing is he's taking standard orbits that we do as tricks, but he's doing them all with reverse grip. So it makes it look different. It makes it look odd. So for twirling purposes, theater, fight choreography, I think reverse grip is amazing. It looks great. But for sparring, like if you're going to be competing in France, and you do reverse grip, I think you're handicapping yourself.
Yeah.
Or any other lightsaber dueling group. I think I have yet to been shown someone effectively do reverse grip consistently well.
And what do you think from a
you might be able to.
Wait a second. Can you hear Chad? I can see him talking. I can't hear him.
No, can't hear us.
I hear you, Chad.
You do. Oh, Ben.
Ben is cursed again.
Oh dear. Yes. Okay, so he'll come back here in a second.
Back.
Anyway, so with the French system, you might actually be able to get away with a little bit of reverse grip because you have priority. And if you can hold on to priority, the other person can't counterattack you. They have to defend your particular strike coming in. Right now, what that means though is you're going to have a pretty good follow-up, which means you're going to either have to switch right back into standard grip once you lose the priority, or you got to be able to switch, and that's what we
position yourself. Something defensive immediately,
right?
Which is based on our previous experimentation. This was a hot topic a little over 5 years ago. Yeah,
and now most historical reverse grip is done with a knife. Right, so it's holding it here like this, right? So you're doing something that's really short. You get extra, kind of extra poking power out of it like that, and it's not very long, so that when you like hit with it, it's not going to pry it right out of your hand.
Yeah.
that, of course, is not going to be the case with a long sword. When you see it in long sword, like in forms and stuff like that, it's usually an exercise on just maneuvering the hilt around, being able to turn it around in your hand so that it's going one way or going the other way.
There's very limited application, transitioning your grip when you're already in a bind.
Right.
But that's under very specific circumstances.
Yeah. So if you're in a bind and the other person's got pressure on you, you can switch your grip over to get more of a, get a little bit more leverage, maybe push them down a little bit, something like that. But it's often the case, though, if you have the opportunity to do that, you would probably, in conventional swordplay, just grab your blade, and use half swording at that point. I would imagine.
Like I said, what I've seen, what I've done has been very specific to a very narrow window of techniques and positions.
Yeah. So
this debate always crops up.
I mean, this is the interesting thing with Surisu, right? I mean, I think you had a video with Craig about this a couple years. Of all of our 7 forms, it and Xian in particular doesn't seem to be very well literarily developed, right?
I don't think any of them are really well developed literally.
Yeah, we just stuck kind of a bunch of random techniques in here, it's like, so.
Yeah, the forms obviously. Yeah, they definitely read like people who do not do martial arts, how like people who are not in martial arts view martial arts, right? Styles and this, that, and the other. My frog style will beat your crane style or whatever. And I think that's kind of going a little bit the way that's how the forms kind of began. Who knows what's going to happen with the forms now? Yeah. Now that we're expanding the universe and they're not anywhere to be really seen. They kind of say Form 3 in Rebels once, but they never say Soresu. They never say any of that stuff. I don't think they're going to use those terms. They'll probably just use the Form 1, 2, 3, and 4. At least I don't think they'll develop it much anymore out of that.
And that does tend to tie more towards the performance-oriented types of techniques.
Yeah. Just for people just tuning in, I just want to say this: the Jedi Path is not a martial arts text. All right. So the stuff that's written in there doesn't have any bearing on what you're really going to do with a lightsaber in real life. It's for stories. That's it. I have to say that because I get questions on that.
I hear hearts breaking right now.
Yeah, I know.
People throwing their computer screens across the room, cursing our name.
Yeah. The Jedi Path is, and none of that stuff, and Star Wars is not a martial arts epic, right? It's a fantasy thing, and it's got some swordplay and stuff like that in it, but just as much less than Lord of the Rings, so it's not a martial arts property. It'd be kind of neat to do a martial arts movie in the Star Wars universe.
And that's what you see in a lot of the fan films that have come out over the years.
Yeah,
a lot of emphasis.
I was just thinking that. Yeah, the fan films tend to be focused on the lightsaber duels, like the one that I wrote that have yet to record. It's completely martial art based.
Well, I don't know that we're going to get to see the rest of Damon's video. I think that pretty much exploded the internet when we tried to play that.
Yeah. We will post it. We'll post it in our updates on the GoFundMe.
Yeah,
so that video so you can see it.
That'll be a good place for it to live. One of the things that I think people should look for in that I thought was very interesting, because we do have these kind of literary models for what should be in Surisu, and so you want, in Form 5, you end up, kind of looking for that stuff in his work. And one of the things that you do see in his work, and the few things that he posts there, is that there is a lot of parry counterattack, that kind of fluid riposte, or a fluid parry into a very strong counterattack, and something that you do kind of associate with Form 5 work. You are getting a lot of that kind of flavor into things that he's beginning to develop and put out there. So that might be interesting for people to look for, and in some of Damon's work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't know how much of it actually got put out there thus far, but I think we were talking about this when we went dead. That sword he's using, I think, is an old cold steel bastard sword. The first ones that we tried back in 2010.
It was definitely a polypropylene waster of some kind, but it looked single-edged with a curve, but it didn't have any hilt assembly I could see.
I'm telling you, we'll look at it again. I tried, because I was looking at the thing, I was like, God, what is that? Right? And he's basically taking a bunch of grip, because that's the thing with those early bastard swords, the black ones, you can still get them on Amazon and stuff like that. These were the first sparring weapons that we used, and they sucked. They were terrible.
They were cheap. They were virtually indestructible.
Yeah.
They were not well balanced. They bounced and slid.
Yeah.
There was. Yeah, they were good for the time.
Yeah.
Because of the durability and the cost, but the practice weapons that have evolved since then are definitely a huge improvement.
Yeah, those handles are very, very small. But I think what he did is he wrapped the handle and took off the crossguard.
Okay, let's take another look at it.
Yeah, because the handles were really small. I mean, and for my hands, which are huge, it's like rattling around in my hands and stuff like that.
You don't have one?
No. I think you had them.
Yeah, I had.
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Oh, you never got them?
Okay. I don't think I ever got one. Okay. Because we tried them and we were like, that was before we found the lightsabers.
Yeah.
Anywho, so yes, so more. Yeah, we're going to be doing some stuff over the weekend too with some practice weapons. So we're not just going to be using the lightsabers. We're going to be using some conventional swords and things too. So, and we'll put it out there again. If you donate to the GoFundMe, you will get access to some live streams that we're going to be doing throughout the weekend, so you can see what we're working on. You can ask some questions. You can kind of get a little behind the scenes look at everything like that before the presentation or show symposium on Sunday. Okay. So please give freely. Give us, anything helps. We're doing this for Damon to give him a little bit of help supporting his family, and to help him get this project done.
Yeah, show some appreciation for someone who is really foundational in building this community.
Absolutely, yeah. Yes. So, yeah, I mean, we will be doing a lot. I mean, so maybe we should talk about a little bit between Shen and Gemso, the way we put the distinction. So I have developed a style of Shen that we've put a little bit out of, but most of it's still kind of behind the scenes and everything like that. I haven't put a lot of it to video. It's a bit more complicated than the other ones because of what it's trying to do and all of that. And it's kind of like a kitchen sink approach. So it's very much like Masha Tongbei, which is basically train 10,000 things so that you can use one. Right. So it's basically, the whole gamut. Well, there's stuff in there that relates to single combat, to group combat, to protecting people, to attacking people. Because that's the other thing. When you start out in this thing, all you're thinking about is the duel. All you're thinking about is hitting the other guy. Then you kind of you grow up a little bit. You learn about parries. And you learn about setting people up and learning to elicit reactions from people.
Control the flow of the fight. Yeah. Through things other than the weapon.
Right. And then you start to realize that there are whole other worlds out there that have nothing to do with that. I've trained cops in knife defense, which is specific because the cops can't hurt the guy. So it was all non-lethal knife defense and, holds and that kind of thing. If you're just dueling with two knives, oh, I'm going to cut you on the throat. Oh, I got you. Right. Cop can't do that, generally speaking, at least in this country yet. But so there's lots of things that you train for in martial arts that doesn't necessarily come to somebody's mind right off. Like, what if you don't have to fight these people, you just have to protect one person, right? And the people that are trying to hurt them are not necessarily bad or your enemy or anything like that. They're just mistaken or whatever. You just have to protect that person. So these are ways that you have to use your skill in different ways, right? You're not just going to go, if you're a Jedi, chop him in half, or ignite your saber and do this. And even when you do ignite your saber, killing the other guy should be a remote possibility, a remote plan, something that you do when all else fails. So what do you do up until that? That's what Shen kind of covers, like all those little permutations. So it gets very complicated.
How to manage multiple objectives in addition to or counter to loss of life and limb.
Yeah, and it's basically it's more for understanding, right? Gemso, we're looking at it more of dueling centric, right? So we're taking all of these skills before, and instead of putting them into like a general, more kind of martial artist umbrella type of thing, where this is specifically focused on single combat, one person against one person. And that scenario, which is the most common that we come in contact with here, is very specific, and it has very specific dynamics to it. So when you hear people say you should never turn your back on your opponent, that's what they're usually talking about, single combat. Obviously, if you're in a group, you don't know where all of your opponents are. It's probably going to be almost impossible not to turn your back at some point. But even in certain scenarios, being able to turn around if they have a longer weapon, all of this other stuff, there's all kinds of caveats that come into that you only get kind of through experience and stuff like that. So Gemso is going to be more focused on that, on the one-to-one thing, which I think is probably very attractive to most people doing stuff out there, because now they're getting involved with TSL, now with the French Federation coming out, and we'll be doing some stuff on that rule set, since that sort of evolved out of what we do here. That will be brought in there. Now, I think Damon said that he is thinking this more as Gemso.
That's my recollection.
Yeah, so that's kind of what he said. And in canon, that's what it said it's supposed to be. That Shen was based more on Soresu, and Gemso was based more on Makashi. And if you take that and you extend that, then that's sort of the same thing. At least that's what we're going on when we set this up. Anyway, so that's kind of the overview. Damon we're going to be doing a lot of Form 5 stuff. So this is all going to be very, very specific to dueling, to one-on-one combat, to all of that stuff. So all of you duelers out there, all those people who are finally strapping on the gear and getting out there and doing the stuff that we've been doing here, tune in, because you're going to get lots of really interesting tips and training tips. And looking at, and all amateur sports are like this when they start out. For those of you out there who do have training and are going to train by yourself, and you're going to get a leg up on the competition, because there's going to be lots of people who just not going to bother. Not going to bother to train on their off time. I got other stuff to do. I'll just do this every now and then when I go to a meet or something like that. On the other hand, there's somebody in their basement every day for 2 hours working on a Pell or doing something, right? And they're improving while you aren't. So if you're out there fighting, just remember the other guy walking into that ring, that might be that guy. So
Well, it's like that old kung fu saying, if you ignore your kung fu for 1 day, it ignores you for 2.
right.
Lightsaber pels. We need lightsaber pels.
We actually have somebody working on them. I didn't put them in charge of this. They kind of just said, I'm doing it. And I said, okay, go. And he's working on a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Oh, we just lost Ben.
oh, we lost Ben, but
Lost Ben again.
he'll probably come back. Maybe he didn't hear you.
There he is.
Yeah.
He's
We're having
back.
the technical difficulties tonight, folks.
Welcome back.
Yes.
I'm back.
We had diverted to discussing specific lightsaber pels, and
Yeah.
Anthony has
Lightsaber bells.
somebody in his group that has taken the lead and is forging ahead on manufacturing. So
Yeah. I don't think it'd be too hard. All you got to do is take any type of standing stick or something like that and put a little bit of padding on it, because you're dealing with carbonite, round polycarbonate blades, which aren't going to do a whole lot of damage to whatever it is.
they're pretty durable in and of themselves.
Yeah, like a dowel rod or no, a PVC pipe and a pool noodle and some duct tape.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
That ought to do it. What is that? $10 at Lowe's.
A couple of free weights on the ground. Stick the PVC in.
Well, you can get like just get like a 4-joint PVC thing with one joint coming up, and then you can stick it in there, and then put four little PVCs on the side, and there's your stand.
Mm-hmm.
Some tent stakes to keep it on the ground.
Yeah. Or like you said, just boom, boom, put it right over the things.
We have an old one that's just makeshift. It's literally, well, now it's only 2 weights. Used to be 3 that we glued together, and we just slide it in the hole, and it's got some good weight to it. And if you whack it and it leans a little bit, the weight, it's like a weeble wobble. But we have a rattan stick inside with no foam, and the rattan has seen better days. It's held together with tape right now, and Ben always makes fun of it every time he sees it.
Yeah, I've got one in my mind, which maybe we'll try to put out there.
Maybe that's a topic. Is lightsaber pels.
Yeah,
There
right.
you go.
Or just training by yourself. Because that's the thing, right? I've had people who've taken all kinds of martial arts with me, and some of them will say, when I say that most of the time that you're training, you're going to be training by yourself. And they're like, I never train by myself. So, well, then you're not training very much, because you can't be training with people that much. I mean,
unless you're
doing it with your roommate or something like that.
Living in a school.
Right. Yeah. Which, in case you're probably not socializing with me.
I would say the majority of my weapon training is early mornings before classes start, because I run a professional martial arts studio, and I don't like being watched because I'm just shy, especially when it comes to martial arts. So I get there early, train, and then as soon as somebody shows up, I put it away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm usually training right before class, or
yeah.
Maybe we'll cut it short when somebody comes in, or if I'm just about done, I'll finish her up or whatever. Yeah. So that's. I think that's kind of what we're going on. I mean, that's going to be the base of the weekend is Damon's Form 5 stuff. We'll post that video, and hopefully you got to see some of it so far, but we'll post the rest of it here in a minute. Yeah, and then elsewise, we're just we have minds together. We're gonna be putting them together. We're gonna come up with some cool stuff.
We're working on our next training project to share.
Yep, we've got a couple of projects in the pike, and then we're going to be doing a lot of new stuff, coming up. You've seen, we haven't been doing a lot of the videos lately. When YouTube changed its algorithm for the ads, that affected YouTube channels everywhere, as you know. A lot of people started bringing up Patreons and that kind of thing. We're probably going to have to go that route as well, because we're not getting the ad revenue that we were anymore.
Okay.
And that, of course, takes into your time. You don't make as many videos. You don't get as much ad revenue. Yeah, and then it's just a snowball and all that kind of stuff. So we've put off that model for long enough, but it looks like the other people in our space are kind of going that way anyway. But the great thing is we are going to be producing a lot of cool new stuff along with the stuff with Damon. We're going to be producing lots of stuff out of this weekend. We're going to be doing some stuff with the French system and the French rules. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to be doing a workshop on it. If anybody wants to learn that system, we'll be doing that up here. So Ben, anything you're looking forward to as we're wrapping up for the evening for this weekend?
I am looking forward to so much stuff out there. I think the thing that I am actually, looking forward to the most is, Damon has a very different physical culture background, than the rest of us. He has his background in the martial arts, but he's got, a background in monkey style. He's extensively worked with Beijing opera and stuff like that. So just his method of training, how he approaches training, how he approaches, structure, body carriage, things like that. I'm very much looking forward to, because I expect it's actually going to be, pretty different than, say, me and Anthony, who are, two Southern Kung Fu guys,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be looking forward to sitting down with everybody and just hashing stuff out, because there's all kinds of stuff that we talk about.
And there are things we can do when we actually have people together in person that are much harder to do when we're
separate,
having these conversations virtually.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just jealous I can't go.
Yeah. It would have been great to have you. Well, we're going to be doing this again. This is the first. I've always said that I've wanted to do something like this, where we have our people come and gather. So we'll definitely do it again. We'll get you there. We'll probably do it other places as well. Here and there.
It'd be nice to go out and perhaps come
to you. New York.
I would love to have you guys come up here. I mean, we've got the space.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm allotted so much time for travel, and I am 100% committed to judging a tournament in Colombia. I was trying to remember it. So I can't get out of that one because
in the country Colombia?
No.
Oh.
That would be kind of cool. So yeah, I'm committed. Yeah, I'm committed to that, and I can't. There's only so many trips I can take before my bank calls me and says, "What the heck are you doing?" The poor martial art instructors, how it is.
Yes. Yep. Definitely.
But we'll definitely have to have you guys come up here to Western New York at some point. And, I think that it is interesting in TPLA, we're going to start to see a little bit more of a meeting of the minds, a meeting of the people, physically and not just virtually.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And hopefully that will allow us to produce a lot more stuff for people. Throw out their books. People have been wanting those. I could ask that at least once a month. They're coming. We'll be putting them out pretty soon. Check out the blog. A lot of that stuff is on there, like the beginnings of it all are up there. But yeah, we'll be producing some other stuff too, continuing our travels and and all that. And hopefully we'll get to see a lot of people out there and bring some new people in. Anyway, so yeah, there's a little update on the symposium, which will be a week from Sunday. So tune into that. There's an event on the page and all of that. For those of you who gave to the GoFundMe and who Marcus Centonio and Jay Rodriguez, both Jay Rodriguez donated $100. So thank you very much. And we got 100 from Alex Prost Brulé in France, one of the groups who's working up there. So thank you. You'll be getting some emails in the mail if you guys are watching right now. You'll be getting some emails from us to bring up to date on how you can tune in for the people who donated to all the cool content that we have up there, or that we will have up there. And you can interact with us, interact with Damon. Yeah, it'll be great. Yeah, join the fun. So thank you to all of the donors thus far, and hopefully we'll get some more. So please share and tell your friends and all of that, so we can make this the cool thing that it should be. Anyway, anything else to follow up here before we take off for the evening?
No, I'm good.
I'm good. Just excited to see what comes up of all this.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be quite a time. So I guess that's it for us right now. Again, please check out the fundraiser. Please like, share, subscribe, all that great YouTube stuff. We are still here. We still need your support. We still need your help. Please get as many people as you can involved. We are here for you guys. And if you want to see something specific from us, new types of videos or anything like that, please just let us know. Either say in the comments, come join us on Facebook, in our group, Learners in Exile, page, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you can find us. And we will do our best. Other than that, I think that's it for us. So I will say good night. Have a great weekend and happy sabering.
Happy sabering.